All right, it is that magic time of 3:45, so we're going to go ahead and get started. Please turn your cameras on, and this is a reminder to my EdTech team that we probably also should have our cameras on to be good models here. Today we are talking about Educated at ETC. And if you're not sure what ETC is, it is a local EdTech conference. I'm honestly not sure what ETC stands for, but it is hosted by the Stanislaus County Office of Education every year, and it's all about EdTech at the K-12 level. So it's a fantastic conference to attend, and we're going to be hearing a little bit from some of the attendees today. Just some of the different cool things that they learned and things they'll be implementing in their classroom, and we've got a variety of topics for you guys. Which brings me to our table of contents today. We're doing our 5-minute introduction now. Then we'll hear from Lisa Boyd. She is a teacher, not was a teacher, she's a teacher at the elementary level. She'll be sharing some of what she learned at ETC. Then we'll hear from Victor Soria, he's a high school teacher. We'll hear about what he learned. And then we'll hear from Melanie Gillum, who is also an elementary teacher. I was actually in her classroom today for Read Across America. So I'm excited to have her on this afternoon to talk about what she learned at ETC, and then we will do our exit ticket activity together, which should take about 10 to 15 minutes. And then we'll come back together once we're all done with the exit ticket, and we'll do our usual thank you, wrap up, feedback survey, and you'll be good to go. So all that should take about an hour. Oh, and one final thing before we get going here, I just want to touch on our collective why. I think we all have a driving reason that, that we do what we do. I know teaching is a difficult job, so hopefully there's a reason you get up every day and go to your classroom. But as MCS as a whole, the district also has a collective vision and a collective why. And that vision is that every student graduates with the skills, knowledge, and character traits essential to thrive and contribute to society. So hopefully that's part of why you get up and do what you do every day, because we really are shaping the next generation. All right. All of that being said, I'm right on time to get started here with Lisa Boyd's presentation. Unfortunately, she could not join us today, so she sent in a lovely video that we're going to watch together. To preserve bandwidth, I am going to go ahead and say you guys can turn off your cameras for now. We'll turn them back on here in a minute, but during the video, you're welcome to turn them off just so that we don't have any lag or Wi-Fi issues. So we will be hearing from Lisa Boyd, and she's going to talk a little bit about AI and what she saw at ETC. And just a reminder here, as we watch this video, there is a Q&A. You can post any thoughts, questions that you have there. And then someone let me know if for some reason my sound doesn't come through.
Hi, everyone. I am Lisa Boyd. I am a computer literacy teacher at Everett Elementary School, and I teach transitional kindergarten through 6th grade, and recently went to the ETC 2024 conference. While I was there, I listened to a session called AI, A Treasure Chest of Tools. And today I'm going to share a few of the AI tools that were covered in that session, but also that we have available to us on our MCS app portal. So these are the ones that we have that they went over in that session, except for this one right here. This is one that we should go into before we even touch any of these. So remember that. Go to that one before you even get into the AIs, because it gives you some really good hints about them, and it gives you a little background on these in case you forget what I tell you, which is most likely, but still, I hope you enjoy this presentation. Anyways, going off, getting back on track. Here we go. So these are the tools that we have available to us through the app portal. Currently, only teachers are allowed to use AI tools in our district. So students should not be using AI tools at this time, just so you know. It's only for teachers. And if you are brainstorming ideas or doing some creative writing, researching information, or just gathering information, the AI tools you want to use are the ChatGPT. You want to be using the Gemini, also formerly known as Bard, and you want to be using the Microsoft Copilot. Okay, these all pretty much act the same. Just go for the one that you are most comfortable with. See what it has and try the other ones and see which one that works with you best. Okay, if you are maybe looking for something a little bit more interactive, and you want a natural language going on one that can summarize documents, do writing and research, then Claude is the one for you. Give it a try, see what you like about it. Kind of liked Claude. I thought Claude was pretty cool. So yeah, give that one a try. And then finally, if you are looking for that teacher-centric kind of concept, the multi-tool that gives you everything, you know, the one that you think can do your job for you, or at least help you reduce your work hours, then you want to do Magic School, because Magic School's got a little bit of everything for you. It is pretty awesome. So these are the tools that we have. And like I said, you've got some brainstorming ones, some natural language going on, summarizing documents. You know, if you don't want to read it, but you want to just get an idea of what it's about, yeah, put that document in there and see what it has to say, or just doing some good old-fashioned research. That's a good place to go. Do remember, though, that this is AI. It's still learning. Well, all except this one over here. This one I'll tell you about later. But this one right here, like I said, it does quite a bit. And we'll go into all of that later. But before we get there, oh, also remember, yeah, the good news is it's Google Sign-In. We have access to the free versions of the tools with Google Sign-In. That means you don't have to make a username and password for each one of these. You just click that Sign In with Google button and you are in. So good news there. Now, the part that we have to think about is this part here. Now I cover how we should phrase our requests through some basic prompts. Because it is AI, it is a self-learning program. It learns how to do its job better as we give it more information and resources. So we need to keep personal and private information from it. We need to be careful how we word things. So here's one way to do it. This was the way that the prompt basics is what was given to us during the session. And this is what she said. She goes, if you're wanting to make a really good prompt for the AI tool to use, first of all, you give it a behavior. Is it going to be a 6th grader? Is it going to be a 9th grader? Is it going to be the teacher? Who do you want it to be? You know, you can also, I actually tried it with Walt Disney. Be Walt Disney and tell me about, you know, Mickey Mouse or whatever. And it'll look those things up and it will act like that. Again, just because it's acting like it doesn't mean that it is valid. So you can't quote it and say, this is what Walt Disney said. No, this is what the AI Walt Disney said. Yeah, choose the behavior. Then you want to choose the scenario, okay? That scenario to give it so it can do the task, all right? And then after the scenario, give it its expectations. Do you want it to use a rubric? Do you want it to be 1 page or 2? You know, set up its expectations. And then finally, give it the examples that it needs. If you have your own rubric that you want it to use, give it the rubric. If you have a document or a reading that you want it to read through, then give it the reading. Okay, but definitely behavior first, then scenario, expectations, and example. So now I'll give you an example of all of these in a statement. So it says, act like a 4th grade English teacher. There's our behavior. And assess the attached student written report on the California Gold Rush. And I actually got a paper on the California Gold Rush by using AI. And I'll show that one to you later. Based on the rubric below, which means I'd have to put in that rubric. And then that's where you insert it in. You put that rubric in. Could be a rubric made on ChatGPT. Could be one of the PDFs made in Claude. You could use those and put them in. You can use multiple AIs, put them together, and see what they can create. So you can also, for those that are testing in writing, you can actually tell it to do a 4-star worth writing paper for 3rd grade. in storytelling or any of those things. And it will actually act like a student and create one of those. Pretty crazy stuff, AI. So, but remember, ladies and gentlemen, anything typed into an AI prompt is feeding the machine and it is learning from you. So please heed the warning. Use great caution not to enter any personal identifiable information to protect the privacy of your students and yourself. This can be a monster or it can be a fascinating tool. It just depends on what we do with it. So we have to please be careful. So now let's see how some of that works. I made a works cited. These are all the pages so I could show what you needed and stuff. And so anyways, this one I connected the hyperlink to the app portal so that you could see where we actually have it. So this is what it looks like. And when you click on it, there they are. Again, like I said, you do want to go to the AI at MCS. It will tell you that, yep, Magic School, we've got, it's completely free to us, even after January 16th. Okay, the Plus features will expire. You'll still have access to all 60 plus AI tools in the convenient Chrome extension. So good news there. AI at MCS. Some more important things, again, staff use only. Okay. Nice little warning here. Here are some tips. Review all AI generated content for accuracy and bias before sharing or using generated content. AI can occasionally produce flawed output. It can only output what has been inputted. So use the 80-20 approach. Initial draft 80%, then add your expertise and review and edit. That's 20%. So let it do the hard work and then you go back in and you make it right. Okay, it's not going to be right. You need to make it right. Okay, so from there, we also have the ChatGPT. Okay, and as I said, there is some information. I looked up useful prompts for ChatGPT, but the main point here is that it is a natural language processing tool driven by AI technology that allows you to have human-like conversations and much more with the chat box. Currently is limited to things that have happened by the end of 2021. It is not going to get any better than 2021 right now. So you cannot ask about it with things that happened last month. It will not know it. Just so you know, it's not producing any more information. So what I did is I said, write a word problem that simplifies fractions. And so I just put it in there and it gave me one about pizza, 2/8 to simplify it for Tom and his 4 friends. So anyways, it did not give me the answer though, so I'd have to go back and revamp that one so it would have the answers. But anyways, it looks like this. It even gives you some ideas about what to ask. And if AI is one of those things, you got to get in there and you got to play with it. But again, as you're playing with it, remember it's actually downloading that information. So let's look at Claude really quick. Here's Claude. Okay, again, and it actually saved some of my other things that I did. But it says, try these for an example. Summarize this PDF document. Let me practice my Spanish vocabulary. So you can do all sorts of things. You can add little, documents that you have in here, PDFs, texts, the CSVs, and so on. Just remember, don't give it any school information, but just keep it in general and go through it. Okay, the one I did, like I said, this one was write a debate essay on the pros of daylight savings time as a 6th grader. And it even has, as a 6th grader, having daylight last later into the evening would benefit me. Wow, that definitely sounds like a 6th grade student. So pretty cool. Gemini, going into Gemini, again, kind of looks the same. Go in there, work with that one. I did lesson plans for transitional kindergarten for a year, and it gave me a bunch of great ideas that I can do with my TKers. And then Microsoft Copilot, also really good with that. Just put that information in, even some jokes if you want jokes. I did also working again, transitional kinders. I wanted to get its idea too. It kind of gave me a lot of the same ideas. Not too bad. The best one is Magic School. And in Magic School, you got a lot of things. Look, report card comments, academic content. You just need to come in here and play. It's me. Look, song generator. You can make a song. How cool is that? Oh my gosh. And teacher jokes. Yay. You want to break the ice and make the kids laugh at you? That's a good way of doing it. So anyway, so these are the things. Also, to let you know that Quizzes, Quizalize, and Canva also all have AI components to them as well. So I hope that you've enjoyed my presentation on AI tools, and I wish you all a happy search. All right, bye you guys.
All right, so that was Lisa's presentation. I'm going to encourage you guys to go ahead and turn your cameras back on. There is a Q&A post for you on what different AI tools you've used. And I don't know if you noticed as my video was going, there was actually a little closed captioning. It might have been a little bit hard to see, just depending on your screen size. But that's actually an AI tool that's built into Google Chrome. This is a super quick bonus tip. But anytime you are on a media component, let me see if I can't leave this video real quick here.
Hi everyone, I am Lisa Boyd.
I'm not trying to watch that again, but anytime you are on a website that has some sort of video or media in it, there is this little icon that shows up in your Google Chrome browser way up here. And that actually auto-generates captions for you, and that's AI based. So you might have noticed it was kind of changing text as she was talking because it was getting a better understanding of her. We'll see it real quick. It's just going to pop up right here in the center of my screen. Let's see it real quick.
I am a computer literacy teacher at Everett Elementary School, and I teach transitional kindergarten through 6th grade.
So I just wanted to show you that really quickly. That's completely AI based. Students can turn that on. It'll pop up for them. And then it doesn't matter if the video already has closed captions or not. The browser can provide that. So that's a bonus AI and accessibility tip for you guys.
Okay. Hi, everyone.
There we go. So thank you, Lisa. That was a fantastic video. Up next, we have Victor Soria, who's also going to talk about some AI stuff. We're learning a lot about AI today. But Victor, whenever you are ready, you are welcome to share your screen and share what you learned at ETC.
Awesome. Thank you. Give me a moment.
And while Victor's getting ready here, there is the Q&A, and Matthew Ketchum just posted that ChatGPT has been updated, and it's now current up to 2023, so it does know about some more modern events. All right, Victor, whenever you're ready.
Okay, so I also attended the ETC 2024 conference. Great conference. Look for it next February. Great sessions to learn about EdTech tools. Currently, I teach English and ALD at Grace Davis High School. I'm also our site's EdTech liaison. And here's what I wanted to talk about and show you today. Where'd we go? So it's productivity shortcuts with Windows and Google, not so much actually AI. So if I'm going to open up this document, you're going to see this. I'm going to put this in the chat. That way it's what I liked about this specific training was it was very hands-on. So I didn't want to just show you things, but I wanted you to be able to. It says chat is turned off for this meeting.
That is because we preset it that way. Let me actually fix that for you, Victor. Let's see.
I just want to be able to put that link so that somebody has the actual thing in front of them.
I went ahead and opened that up. You should be able to chat now, and then once you post it, I'll go ahead and turn it back off.
Victor, if you get the executive account for how they do that live, we can get you to.
It's going to require 27 hours of PD, though. You're
That's
gonna have
right.
to host
That's
it.
right.
27 hours of PD.
Yeah.
Can I Can I use things that I've already banked? I've got
I
more
knew
than
that was
that.
coming.
Okay, so head over, click on the link in the chat, open up this productivity tools and tips. It'll prompt you to create a new copy of it. Looks like this. So I'm going to ask you to make a copy. Copy of a copy of a copy. So it's going to start off with Windows-based shortcuts. So I know that when you're working in your documents, sometimes it's easy to highlight things and then click some buttons, but this is actually shortcuts in Windows, and then we'll move on to shortcuts with Google's. Hi, Sing, how are you? Good. So the first exercise, the direction says to bold, italicize, underline, and strike through words. So if you click on Bold Me and you hit Control U, that's going to underline it, and we don't want to do that. Control B will bold it. If we want to italicize something, you're going to hit highlight, and Control I will italicize. Underline is Control U. And I thought this one was interesting, and I do occasionally use the strike through feature, and it's Alt, Shift, and the 5 button. So the thing I didn't like about this is you really have to use them, or like I do, I printed this out and have it near my computer somewhere because it's hard to remember all the little shortcuts and tips. So if you want to align something, if you click on the box and you hit Control Shift plus L, it'll align it to the left. Control Shift R aligns it to the right. Control Shift E aligns it to the center. So sometimes instead of clicking and then finding a button, yeah, it's oh, what if how do I, oh, let me just use the Control Shift left, E or R, and it will center it for you. Control Shift E centers it. Control Shift R aligns it to the right. I thought that was a nice tool. Number 3, so the shift arrows. Control Shift plus the arrows lets you select or deselect words using the shortcuts. So if you wanted to highlight words in a specific text, so I'm going to hit Control Shift plus the arrow, and then that highlights just those words that I wanted to highlight, just that line. Control Shift down. Maybe I just want those. So sometimes instead of highlighting this way, maybe you want to highlight just this specific line and then this specific line and this specific line. So you can center Control Shift arrow. Oops, Control Shift arrow. Go down, Control Shift arrow. I'm highlighting these. So that's good for just highlighting, and then you can cut, copy, paste. Your keyboard has emojis in Windows plus the period, and you can scroll through the different emojis that it has. So you can enter emojis in any document. Doesn't have to just be a Word document. This one I really liked. So the paste default. So this says go to Screencastify, scroll down until you see millions use Screencastify. Great. So let's say you are highlighting something from a website and then you want to paste it into your document. And this happens to me a lot. So I'm going to scroll down to where it says millions use Screencastify. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to head back to my document. If I can move. Yeah, let's try that. Go away. Go away. Awesome. All right, let's do that. So now, once you paste, you'll see that it, oh God, I don't want the blue. I just wanted the words. I didn't want the box around it. It's kind of more like a little screen capture. So what you would want to do, it says, highlight it, paste it first by Control V, then below that, paste it with, oh, Control Shift V. So instead of using Control V, you add the shift to it, and now it captures only the words. So sometimes if you want to cut, copy and paste something in your document, and then you have to go back and reformat it. So adding that Control Shift V takes just the words, doesn't take the background. But let's say you did mess something up. I'm moving on to number 6. Control Z and Control Y. So let's say I wanted to undo what I just did. Control Z, Control Z. Oh no, I want to put it back. Control Y, Control Y. So it's an undo and a redo button. So this prompt says to type and don't paste the itsy spider crawled up the water spout. How many of you like sing the song as you're typing it? The itsy bitsy spot? Yeah, I do that too. So it says don't, excuse me, copy and paste, but now I want to undo. So it'll start to undo my edit. And let's say I wanted to fix it, but you know, I really did like that sentence. So now I'm going to put it back. Maybe I had changed my mind. So I did like the undo and redo. Next, selecting multiple words. So this will happen maybe if you're highlighting something in a text for your students or you're reading something. If I hold down Control and I double click a word, I can highlight several words at once. So maybe I'm highlighting vocabulary for my students and we're in a text and we're reading, but I want to highlight different points in the text and keep them highlighted. Holding down the Control while you double click will keep those highlighted for you. Moving on, I do want to get to the Control, find and replace. So I want to find, it says hold Control H and put London in the find box, Paris in the replace box, then undo it afterwards. Well, what does that mean? Well, let me hit Control H. You know, I want to find Paris, or did I want to find London? Let's see. You know, I would like to replace London, and I want to replace it with Paris. And replace. Place all. So now it changed London to Paris. This works really great. I don't know how many of you have written letters of recommendation for your students, but I keep a copy for my students. I keep a gender specific, and it's he or it's she and this student. And so now I use the find and replace to change the name of the student. I'm now incorporating AI into changing the letters of recommendation a little. But I have a general letter of recommendation I want to use, and I just use the find and replace to change the name of the student. You can also, going on through number 9, select and drag the numbers in the correct order. Great. So I'm going to double click and I'm just going to drag it over. Oh, let's try it again. 2. And I don't want to. Why is it not working for me? Anybody having better luck? Let's see.
I feel like this is always one of those shortcuts that works when I don't want it to and never works when I do want it to.
Okay. It
It
says you
also
can
could be
double click
because
on
you're
it.
streaming.
I wouldn't double click on it. I would highlight it and then drag it over. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6, 7. So it will work, just not quite as they presented it as in the double click. But if you highlight it, then you can drag it. Last one, adding a link to something. So it says add the link ESPN to ESPN by using Control K. I thought this was interesting. So if I highlight ESPN and I use Control K, it's searching the document to add a link to it. So now I can go down here to, ESPN.com and then insert that link. I thought that was pretty interesting. A really quick way to add a link to a word. Zoom in and zoom out. Control plus. Sometimes in the classroom when I open up especially a Google Doc like this and my students can't see it, instead of trying to go down and finding the zoom or the fit, really quickly Control plus. Let me magnify that real quick so you can see it. Then I can go back to the normal size. It also does work with the control and scroll up on your mouse. So if you're working with a mouse, you hold down the control button and then scroll up, it will zoom, scroll down will minimize. Tabbing through different windows. So if you have the Windows plus the tab button, let's see. Actually have more windows open on my other screen. So let's move some stuff over. Okay, so now Windows tab. So now it'll show you anything that's open. You can kind of get to that easily. Windows tab, I really want to go back to my presentation over here. So that allows you to select a window. If you hit Windows tab, and then you can click on it and go back to it. So function 11 is either the F11 button or the function 11 button to go to full screen. So function F11 goes into full screen mode. Function F11 brings it back. Desktop access, Windows D. So Windows plus the D gets you right to the desktop. I don't have anything on this desktop because it's my second monitor. Windows D brings it back. But if you have multiple tabs open and you have a file sitting on your desktop, let me go grab that file really quickly. Go to your desktop and let's say it's this one. Oh, there it is. I need to open that up. Well, Windows D. Opens up that desktop. Oh, now how do I get my files back? There we go. I just used the Windows Snap. This one's handy. I'm moving on to number 11. Hey, Alexander, how much time do I have?
Maybe like 4 more minutes.
Okay, then let me just show you. Oh, there's my timer. Windows L, if you're going to leave your computer unattended for a brief moment, or you have to leave your classroom for a second, you don't want anybody to come mess with it, the Windows L button will lock your computer and you'll have to re-enter your password. So don't do it now. Let me move on to the, let's see, Chrome browser. So these were the best ones that I can remember. So Control T opens up a new web browser. Smalls. What was the full screen again? Oh gosh, I can't remember now. Only had a cheat sheet. So Control T opens up a new tab, but let's say I close some tabs. Oh no, I wish I hadn't have closed those tabs. Well, Control Shift T will open up in succession those tabs that you closed. That one's handy because like, oh, I wish I hadn't closed that tab. Oh, I have to go down and look at the history and open it that way. Nope, whatever you close, Control Shift T opens those tabs right back up for you. That one is a lifesaver sometimes. And if you want to select a tab, man, I wish I could show you that a little better. So if you notice that here I've got some group tabs, but I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 tabs open. So if you hit the Control plus the number, so 1, 2, 3, 4, let's see if that works. Control plus the number 4. Okay, maybe I have to have it open. Control plus the number 4. There it goes to the tab that you want open. You do have to like kind of count. So I don't know if for me, 1, 2, 3, 4, I literally have to put my mouse on it and then by then I click on it. But if you're better than me and you can know which number your tab is, opens right to it. And there was one last one. Again, you can sit around, use this document to play with it on your own. But the last one that I thought was the cropping. Well, that one's going to take more time. I'm trying to use how about a reverse image search? So it says find an image, search it with Google, and you can translate it. So if I Google Chinese tattoo, and now I'm going to use the Google. Oh, I better not use that one. I learned not to use that specific photo. So I want to Google image search. So I'm going to grab this photo and I'm going to drag it over. And then I'm going to use the translate feature. And it says, I have no idea. So I thought that was amazing. So you can use the image search, drop it into the translate, and that translates it for you. I think that's about all I have time for. I don't want to take up any more of your time, but this is a living document. I went through and just used all the tools on here. I printed it out just to keep a little handy cheat sheet next to my computer. And that's it for me. Thank you for joining me. I hope these are useful for you.
All right, thank you for sharing, Victor. There is a Q&A up at the top, and I did post a link to Victor's section in the Q&A there for you guys. I'll also make sure to include this in the follow-up for you because there are a lot of handy shortcuts. I know my personal favorite is the Windows Snap, which really quickly I'm just going to show for you. So let me leave my presentation. But let's say I have two things I want side by side. I can click on one of them. I can press and hold the Windows key on my keyboard, which just looks like the Windows icon. And then I can use either the left or right arrow key to snap it to the left or the right. So we'll go to the right. And then it's going to ask me, usually it asks me what I want to snap to the left of it. But if I did want to snap something to the left of it, like, I don't know, say a Teams meeting, I can use that Windows key, send it to the left. This is what I'm used to seeing. And then it'll snap it to the left, and then it'll put it to the right. Now, at the risk of having a terrible window defect, I'm going to go ahead and move this Teams meeting out of the way, get this presentation back here for you guys. But I do want to show you that it's one of my favorite shortcuts. But you'll get the whole document with all the great shortcuts. Keyboard shortcuts are amazing. They take a little bit of practice, but they really can save you a lot of time.
Thank you so much. That was one of my favorites, and I forgot about that.
Yeah, somebody asked about it in the discussion, so I figured I would just show it really quickly. Our last presenter today is Melanie Gillum, and Melanie, I have fully lost track of time here. So if you could take about 10 minutes in your presentation, that would be great.
Oh,
Um,
you are awesome. Because I was thinking, oh, I don't know if I could talk for, I don't know. I like to talk, so I'm going to keep it as brief as possible. And I'm going to talk about Magic School. So Magic School is something that I had heard the name, but I had not ever played with it. And really, have been obsessed with it since I got back from the ETC conference, and I've been using it to create quizzes, and I'll show you what that looks like. So I'm going to stop sharing my screen because you don't need to see me, and I'm going to stop sharing my camera, start sharing my screen. There we go. So I have I've cut quite a few of my tabs down, and I'm going to get rid of that. Or not. So it is in our applications, and I'm going to look up Magic School. I'm using it for quite a bit of things, and let me show you what that looks like. When you first sign up, it is for free. It is on our app. We get the free app, but when you sign up, you get, I believe, 15 days, 15 or 20 days for free. And it's the paid version. So the paid version is not incredibly different. And the only I think the only difference for us is that we won't be able to export things after that, but there is a workaround. So let me show you what it looks like. So they do have Raina, by the way, which is the chat bot, somewhat like, you know, I don't want to say Siri's name because then my phone comes on. But anyway, so I have my favorites already. And it's really cool. It has a standards unpacker, which if you remember year ago, 2 years ago, it was all about unpacking the standards. Well, this does it for us. So I could put in a standard, and I'll just put in one that I have for 5th grade because I teach 5th grade. And it's, let's do math. So NBT 3. And all I have to do is generate. I'm just loving it. And it is making even our PLC, when we start talking about the standards, we know which standard we're working on, but I'm like able to go, hey, you guys, now we have, you know, I can unpack that standard and see specifically, like, what can I do maybe that I'm not doing when we're looking at where the students are struggling. So it gives us ideas. It gives us ideas for assessments, gives us instructional ideas. It tells you what your learning targets are, what our expectations are, which is very handy. You know, maybe you're super busy like everybody is, and we want to make sure that we have our learning targets. That's what I call mine, but our you know, our objectives on the board, and it's done for us. I still like to check everything, and particularly I'll show you the math. It's pretty spot on in terms of when we're doing our standards unpacking, but when I'm creating quizzes, and I've been doing a lot of multiple choice assessments, almost all of the answers that they give you, A, B, C, or D, are incorrect. So so you really have to know, you know, it can't just be something that you like, oh, hey, this is cool, I'm going to use it with fidelity without looking at what they're providing. And I have to say, the multiple choice assessments, the questions are great, but the answers are not so hot. And so as long as you know what the answer is to your question, I would just replace that so you know you have the answer within it. And I'm doing all of my assessments in Schoology, so I can show you what that looks like. But you go into multiple choice assessments, you've got your grade, and it asks you how many questions. I was pulling 20 at a time so that I have just 3 weeks worth of exit tickets. And then I also, just because I put them in Schoology, well, now I just see the information, and it's pretty quick. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to put my same standard NBT3, and it's going to pull up for me some pretty fabulous things. Gives you the answer key or what it thinks is the answer. Always check it, like I said. But what's kind of cool is it at the bottom, you can ask, like, what's a common misconception regarding this standard? And it will pull those up, and that's pretty handy. Some of us, you know, I mean, we can't think of everything, so it's pretty handy to do that. But for instance, here, if I just hold my, you know, put my mouse or whatever on the side, right now I can copy it, I can save my resources, or I can export it. So as I think I have until the 10th of March to continue to do this, which is cool. But otherwise, I've just been saving them and putting them into I have a collaboration folder with my PLC team, and it looks like this. We have our CASP practice, and then our standards-based quizzes. You can do that for both math and ELA. And so I'll just take that. This is order of operations, and there's my quiz. It looks funky for us here, but that's particular to, it's like you're seeing the back end of the Schoology assessment, but when the students see it, they will see it, and it looks correct. So I put it in there. You can see those are my questions. It shows the grading. I haven't pushed this out yet, so it hasn't been graded, but then it will report. And that's pretty handy. Another thing that I've been using it for, and I'm just going to go back. I can also share things. Besides the standards unpacker, multiple choice assessments, the song generator, I used this week, not for a song, but for a poem. And what is that? And it was based on Dr. Seuss. So I put in Reading is Funtacular. That was my song title. And I put in Mrs. Gillum's class, 5th grade. I put in recess, and I don't know what else I put in. We'll just do that. And then I said, okay, I want it to be like Shakira Waka Waka to that sound. And so here we go. We got a song. And of course, as always, I'm going to check it to make sure that it's appropriate. But it's so fun. And then I would pull up the music, the background music. So like a karaoke without the, you know, without the words. And we would try and sing the song. So it's pretty cool. And like I said, for this week, which is Read Across America, everything is about Dr. Seuss. So I did one in Dr. Seuss style, and everything was rhyming. So it was super fun. And I think that the big kids loved it, but I think the littles would love it just as much. And it's also fun if you want. I did one for electricity. So I've really been kind of just playing with it. They're also, excuse me, this custom chatbot. I have not played with that, to be honest, yet. But if you star something, then that's going to show up at the top. They have all these other kinds of tools. They have lesson planning, report card comments. Awesome. If you want to just say you've got a group of boys, I would just choose he. And I would say areas of strength, great communicator. You know what that means. He talks too much. And areas of growth, focusing during class. And that pretty much goes for all of my 5th grade boys. Oh, sorry, my timer, I have about 30 seconds. And I'm going to generate it. So you could actually just, as long as it looks good to you, copy and paste those into your students' report cards. It really is a time saver. Awesome. So I think am I at 10 minutes, Alex?
You've got maybe like a minute or so left if there's any final
Cool.
tools that you want to share.
Okay, yeah, absolutely. So the other thing that I did was I have been, because for all of us, the big push is to reclassify. So I would do, again, under multiple choice assessment, I'm going to put LPAC, and I'm going to put reading questions. Let's just put LPAC reading. Okay, so these are basic questions, not what I want. So I would say LPAC reading and writing for students, and it pulls up some really great questions. So that's really all I've got for this. I mean, like I said, it's been 2 weeks since I've been using this, and I love it. You can also go to YouTube. You can find a video and put the video link in, and it will actually generate questions according to that video, which is awesome. There is a rubric generator, so you can have it write your rubric. Text dependent questions. I took a text and you just paste it in, and it will generate questions for you. You can do feedback. The IEP generator, for those who are SPED, I understand, and I haven't used it yet, but nor do I have a reason to use it. But for those who are, special ed, this might really be cool. You can also, I don't want my students to know about this, because then they would just copy and summarize the life out of everything. So translation, you can also do DOK questions, which are pretty cool. Write a math story, and you can have it, you can choose like Indiana Jones, and the characters will change. So teacher jokes, of course, proofreading, unit plan generators. It's just got so much. Jeopardy game review, that's really fun. I did that with my students one day. And it set up the leaderboard for me. Of course, spiral review, choice boards, letters of recommendation. That would be great for our upper, our high school teachers. Vocab list generators. It's just got so much. But the caveat and the warning is, make sure you read everything that comes through. Just as we know, it's AI. It's not smarter than us. It's like garbage in, garbage out. It's as smart as we are, is it's learning. So anyway, that's it for me.
Thank you, Melanie. That was fantastic. I'm going to go ahead and share my screen again. And so we are at the exit ticket portion and survey portion, and we only have 3 minutes left. So here's what we're going to do is I am going to get you guys the exit ticket, because we do want you to complete that. And then if you all pinky swear to me that you will do the survey when I send it in the email tomorrow, you can go after you complete your exit ticket. But if we don't all pinky swear, then you got to stay on to do the survey as well. So do we all pinky swear?